Welcome to the mining of craft, where we've got a new toy on the top floor of this elevator, which is on the channel, by the way. You can build this elevator, and I'm going to keep promoting it because it is the best thing I've built. You're welcome. So yes, all the other buttons have been turned. It's your turn, top floor. And we've got it. It's a wall. Amazing. But it's not just any wall. It's a wall with a lever. Hell yeah. Now it's a portal. Now it's a wall. Except it's 4x4 blocks. If we put some blocks in to kind of show where the boundaries are, we can see it is 4x4. And dispensers. This was a trick I used on the 3x3 one. Dispensers have water in one, which breaks the portal, and a fire. Flint and steel? There you go. It's not called a fire. Flint and steel will light the portal with the dispenser on the left, but in Bedrock Edition you can pull dispensers, so we have to pull them out of the way to stop them being pulled by the door stuff at the top. And that's because the door stuff at the top is just done with slime and honey blocks. So the main thing is, in Bedrock Edition you have to be really careful about the layout, because not only do you have to worry about the push limit for each piston of 12 blocks, you also have to worry about the pistons going off at slightly different times. So you set the redstone at the same time, like have one repeater going to each piston, but they'll actually go off in a different order. So that means that sometimes these end up pulling other blocks, so you have to be careful with that, and that can mean that sometimes when you pull the lever it will work, and then the next time you pull it, it doesn't work. But I've tested this one a bunch and it seems fine. Works every time. There you go. And now you got a portal. So if we go out the back, this is the redstone. This, if you don't know about redstone, it's actually pretty small for what it is. If you know a lot about redstone, you might go, that's not small, you could optimize the slime and honey blocks, and this redstone at the bottom could be one block higher up. And to you I'd say, shush. It's good enough. It's actually kind of simple. I mean, all of the mess of torches and repeaters is just to get all of these pairs of pistons. There's just 2 pistons on the honey blocks, 2 pistons on the slime on this side, and 2 pistons on slime on this side. And as you can see, I've tried to lay them out in a way where I kind of avoid the honey and slime going past pistons. That was why I laid out the honey and slime the way I did, because that's what tends to cause problems. So I shouldn't get any problems with like bits of it pulling pistons in the wrong place. It's just this piston pushes the slime, which pulls this piston and gets powered, except it's the other way around. Good job me. For the honey, I've got a piston at the top and a piston at the bottom, and the piston at the top will go off first, then the one at the bottom, and then the slime on the left. Top one first, bottom one afterwards. And that's how we push these blocks. 2 blocks forwards, through the portal into the wall. And we just have to do the water dispenser first. So there's a water bucket here, and we do that with 2 observers. So the redstone sets off the first observer, powers this block, and this redstone, which powers the dispenser, which chucks water out, breaks the nether portal. Then this repeater goes off with a delay, which will set off this observer and the redstone, and that will take the water back in. Then this repeater here powers this block with a torch on it, because that's keeping the dispensers up with these pistons, and that turns off, they get pulled down, and then this redstone at the back goes to a torch and a bunch of stuff that powers all the pairs of pistons. So for building it, the resources, if we look in our chest, we've got 18 redstone dust, 9 repeaters, 6 redstone torches, 8 sticky pistons, 2 dispensers, 2 observers, 24 obsidian, and that's for the portal, and also blocks that go past the slime and honey blocks, because we need those to not move around, so they have to be obsidian because that doesn't get pulled by them. And then you're going to need 10 slime blocks and 4 honey blocks, and you could also swap this for 10 honey blocks and 4 slime blocks, doesn't matter which. You're also going to need a water bucket in one of the dispensers. You're going to need flint and steel for the other one, and I'd recommend filling the dispenser with flint and steels, because this will run out, and that will mean that you have to fill it up the least. Okay, so for building it, we have our 4x4 portal to start with, and we put some sticky pistons 1 block below the bottom and at the front, just 4 of them like this, and that pushes up the floor. Now if we go to the left and the right, we go one block back and place dispensers. And then there's some obsidian in between to just cover up the redstone. Underneath these dispensers, we go 2 blocks down and do a sticky piston aiming up at the dispenser on both sides, like that. Now for our blocks that push into the door, we have honey and slime. So starting on the left side, 1 block behind the dispenser and 1 block above it, we do a slime block, then 2 more, then 1 across like that. But when we go to the back of the left side, we do 1 on this corner and then 1 to the side with the obsidian, so to the left, so those 2 sticking out the back. Then next to that we do honey blocks in this shape and then slime blocks in this shape. So that's what that looks like. For the pistons, if we go to the right side, we have a sticky piston at the bottom and the top, like that. And for the honey, at the top of the honey, we have a piston. And then if we follow the wiggle downwards, there's one at the bottom here as well. Now for the slime at the top, the 2 blocks that are sticking out to the side, we just do 2 pistons behind those, like that. So these are our pistons. Okay, I'm going to remove the blocks that go in the door for now, just so I can test everything as I go. So the first thing is next to this bottom piston on the right, we do a block with redstone, then another block with redstone behind that, then a block going across with a repeater on its default into a block, then a block with redstone on the other side, then a block with a repeater coming out of that redstone into a block, and then a redstone next to the left hand piston. So we've got that shape. So if I put a lever here, those should all turn on and off. And this is your input, this redstone here. So above the second redstone, we do an observer aiming up. And then next out of observer, we have another observer with a redstone on top to activate the dispenser. Under the second observer, we do a block with a repeater. And it's on 3 ticks, so 1 from the end. That then goes into a block, and then a block with redstone on the other side. And we curve that round like this. Now coming out the block, we also do a block with a repeater. And that goes into a block with a redstone torch on the piston side. And then to power the other piston, we have a block with a repeater, so it doesn't interfere with that redstone. So now both the dispenser pistons should be powered. So this repeater will turn the torch off, which will turn those dispenser pistons off, but we actually need them to stay off for longer than that repeater is on. So we use part of the rest of the circuit for that. So the redstone we've got at the back, we do that going into a block with a torch. Then in front of that torch, we have a repeater on 3 ticks. That goes into a block with a torch on the other side. And in front of this torch, we've got redstone on a block. And then we do 2 blocks going across into the block with the torch. And we do a repeater next to the piston. And then redstone dust to keep that torch off for a bit longer. Now above this torch at the back, we have a block and then a redstone torch. And that should be off. To the right of that, when you're looking from the back, you go a block across from the torch. And then 1 block up with redstone on both of those. Then going towards the front again, we do a block with a repeater. That goes into an obsidian with a redstone dust on top of it. And then an obsidian above the repeater so that this piston will get powered by the redstone and the block when it gets pushed to here. To the left of the torch when you're looking from the back, we do a repeater on 3 ticks, so 1 from the end. Aiming to a block with a torch. Then a block with a torch on top that will be off, and then a block above that, and then a block to the right of that, and we do 2 more blocks to the side along the back pistons, and redstone dust on all of those to power them. And these power after the front ones technically, but because the front ones aren't in place, nothing happens, and then this comes on, powers the back piston, but when you turn it off, the front one will actually turn off first, and then the back piston goes off, so that's why it pulls back and goes forward. So we need to power these pistons at the bottom when they get pushed 1 block forward. So the way we do that, which is a bit awkward, is you go underneath them and next to the dispenser on the left, when you're at the back, you do an obsidian and then you go 2 blocks across under this honey or slime if you've done slime there and do another obsidian. Then above the block with the torch on it, you do a block with redstone on it and that redstone will power both those blocks when we go to this torch and grab a block going into the obsidian on the right with a repeater. And that also means that because that's this torch and this repeater to power that, and this torch, this redstone and this repeater to power the other one, these will all go off at the same time. And okay, that should be the circuit done, but what I'd recommend you do is you actually test the stuff works first before putting water and fire everywhere. So the first test we're going to do, get any random items and the dispenser on the right side, just put 2 of them in it and see if they get chucked out of it when you turn it on. So I'll put my lever at the input, turn it on. This wasn't a good way of doing this one. And okay, only 1 sticky piston got chucked out of mine, so I've mucked up one of the repeaters. Yep, that's quite a big muck up. So the second repeater we did, so the observer repeater goes into a block, and then there's one here going into the block with the torch. That needs to be on 3 ticks, not its default. So now if I do the same thing, put 2 items in there, they both came out that time. And then I have also forgot, next to the dispenser on the left, we do a block and then a torch on top of it, and that's to power it when it comes back up. So if I put a block in that now and turn the lever off, then when it comes back up, it fires. So that would light the portal if that was the flinted seal. Okay, now does the slime and honey go where it's supposed to? Which is 2 blocks forward, yep. And does it go back? Also, yep. And now we'll test it with blocks on it to make sure it still handles it fine with blocks. And then we can just put our blocks in here. And now we just go to dispenser on the right, we put in our water bucket, and then dispenser on the left, we put in our flint and steel. And again, I'd recommend you fill this with them if you can, because then you'll have to replace it the least. And now when we turn it off, it should light. There we go. And then it should go away when we turn it on. There we go. And you just fill in your wall around it like this, and your floor like that. And bam, no one knows a portal was ever there, no sound, nothing. It's completely gone. Until you activate it. Alright, hope you enjoyed that video. I've been Idendide, and I'll see you in hell. This is making me sick.